All right. So today we're going to be talking about college admissions, specifically early decision and early action. And I think this is really good information to know just because you have a lot better of a chance of getting into a school if you apply early decision or early action, but I'll get into that a little bit later. Okay, so this is just a quick little overview of what early decision and early action are if you're unfamiliar. So there's two college application options, and the typical one is regular decision. That's the one that has the biggest pool of applicants. But if you decide to apply either early decision or early action, it can give you an advantage, and it shows colleges that you are very interested. Okay, so first we're going to talk about early decision. So early decision is what it sounds like. So it is a binding decision, which means that if you get in, you must go to that school. And because of that, you can only apply early decision to one school, because obviously if you apply to more than one, then there will be a conflict if you get into both of them. The application is typically due on November 1st or the 15th, and then you basically find out if you're admitted in December, which is awesome because for regular decision, you typically won't find out until like February or March. Okay, and then if you apply early decision somewhere, that means that you have to resend all of your other college applications because that is where you have to go. Okay, and then some schools have early decision 2, which is typically due January 1st, but there's no conditions that are any different for early decision 2. It's the same thing, so it's a binding agreement, which means that if you get into that school, you have to go there. It just has a later deadline. Okay, and then if you're applying early decision, your parent needs to complete an early decision agreement, which is found in your Common App account. And the Common App, of course, is the application that students use to apply to multiple private schools. Okay, so now we're going to move on to early action. So early action is different than early decision. But it does typically have the same due date, November 1st or the 15th, and then you'll find out if you're admitted by December, so the same thing. But the key difference is that early action is not binding, so if you get into the school, that doesn't mean that you have to go there. You just find out earlier. So you can continue to apply to other colleges, and you do not have to resend your other college applications. So really the only thing with early action is that you get to find out early if you got in. But other than that, it's basically the same as regular decision. So you don't have to resend any of your college applications, and you don't have to sign an agreement saying that you have to go there if you get admitted. All right, so some schools have restrictive early action or single choice early action, which means you can only apply early action to one school. So the terminology gets a little confusing here, but basically restrictive early action and single choice early action is the same thing as early decision. Early decision just has a couple of different names depending on the schools, but all of those mean the same thing. The key thing that you want to look for is to see if it is binding. That's the key thing that you want to look for. Okay, so here are the benefits of applying early. So reason number 1 is that it increases your chances of admission. So here's a little fun fact for you. So 48% of Bowdoin College's class of 2022 was admitted early decision. So almost half was admitted early decision, which is quite impressive. It shows colleges you are serious, and early decision is more powerful than early action, but early action is still more powerful than regular decision. And applying early is especially helpful for first-gen students. So basically when you apply early, it shows the school that you're super interested in going there, and so it can dramatically change your chances of getting in or not, whereas regular decision, you're going to be put in with a bunch of different or a bunch of applicants, hundreds and thousands of other students who want to get in. But if you apply early, that really shows your eagerness to go to that school. Okay, reason number 2 is reduce stress. So if you apply early and find out early, if you have been admitted, and then you save time, money, and effort. And I think this is a really big one for a lot of students, because when it's college application season, you're going to be stressing out all the time, or not all the time, but you're going to be stressing out for, several weeks, because a lot of the application deadlines are very close to each other, usually like end of November, end of December, or mid-December, some in early January. But, if those applications are due at those times, that's holiday season. So if you can submit early, then you should take advantage of that, because it'll be stress-free. You can enjoy the holiday season, spend time with your family and friends, and you won't have to worry about any of this stuff. And then plus, if you find out early, then you'll have the opportunity to start like saving up money and kind of gathering your plans for moving to that school in the fall. So all in all, it's just, a really, really big stress reliever, because if you find out early, then you'll have more time to kind of settle everything that you need to do before you make the big move to college. Okay, so remember that you also want to do your research. Okay, so you want to be 100% sure. If you are doing early decision, you want to be 100% sure that you want to go to that school. So only apply early if you are set on a school. You have visited the college if you can. You have participated in an admissions interview. You attended a reception. You have compared your stats and have a good chance of getting in, meaning that it's a target school for you. And you have researched financial aid and know you'll be able to afford that school. So for a lot of early decision and early action students, they'll usually tell you what your financial aid for the school will be, so you can make that decision if you are applying early action. And of course, if you don't have the chance to do any of these things, either because the school is very far away or you just don't have the means to go, then the best thing that you can do is just try to do your research and find out as much about the school as possible. So maybe try to connect with some students that you're able to find online, or, you basically just want to find out as much about the school as possible, because if that's the school that you're going to go to, then you want to make sure that you're 100% comfortable going there. So for college visits, I think a good resource to take advantage of is flying programs. And if you don't know what that is, we have another webinar that's recorded all about that, so you can find that on YouTube. But a flying program is basically an all expenses paid visit to a school for prospective students or applicants. So they pay for all of your travel, your airfare, your accommodation, your meals, everything. And it's a chance for you to get to see what the school is like. And it's for students who would typically not be able to do so otherwise. So for a lot of like low income, first gen students of color. So that's a really good resource to take advantage of. I believe there are some schools that still have their applications open, so you can check that out. We have an article on the Hub all about it, and then you can also check out College Greenlight. That's a good website too, to find out a list of schools that have flying programs that are still open. Admissions interview might be a little bit harder, but if you're able to connect with an admissions officer or maybe even an alumni who lives in your area, who will be able to give you a good idea of what the school is all about and potentially their experience being a student there, then that's awesome. And then a reception, a lot of schools have receptions nationwide, not just in the area that their school is in. So you want to look up that too, because if you can, then you'll typically get to meet some faculty members, definitely current students, and you'll be able to talk to people from different departments like financial aid, admissions officers, stuff like that. Okay. So you don't want to do it if you're not fully committed to a college. So again, just reiterating, you have to be 100% sure you want to go to that school. You're still researching schools. Your senior year fall semester grades might show improvement, and you want to be able to compare financial aid packages between schools. Okay, and then this is a key note to remember. So you can be rejected during early decision / early action, or your application may be deferred to the regular decision round. So what that means is that if you apply early decision or early action, there is a chance that, of course, if you don't get admitted, then you can just be flat out denied, which means that you cannot apply to the school again, or that's basically the end of it for you. So if you get denied, that means that that's it. You got rejected, but that's okay. And then when you get deferred, that means that you will be reconsidered again during the regular decision cycle. So if you didn't get in, but it doesn't necessarily say that you got rejected, and it says that you got deferred, then that means that you will be reconsidered with the regular pool of applicants, and you still have a chance of getting in. All right, so that is the end of the webinar, pretty quick. I want to see if there are any questions. And if there's not any questions, then please take the post poll that I will launch right now. And of course, if you have any questions about early decision and early action, since the deadline is coming up in about a month or a month and a half, then feel free to reach out to any of the advisors on the Hub. We would be more than happy to help you out with your applications and with, especially reading and revising your personal statements, your supplemental essays, all of that. All right, so with that, thank you all for joining me, and I will see you on the Hub. Bye.